Bobby Slowik, out, fired. See you later. Not named a head coach, not interviewing for head coaching jobs. Fired. Bobby Slowik, gone from the Houston Texans. This is this terrifying image behind me is Ian Rappaport, who is breaking the news. Crazy stuff, man. You talk about a what have you done for me lately league. Damn. 12 months ago, not even, honestly, because I think Slowik didn't just interview with the Jets for their head coaching job, but 12 months ago, one of the hottest names in the head coaching candidacy, Bobby Slowik, former offensive coordinator for the Houston Texans, former, San Francisco 49ers staff, like PFF, worked at PFF. Crazy how fast this can happen. It was 1-2 last offseason with Ben Johnson and Bobby Slowik as who is the next great head coach, who is the next genius offensive guru. So we'll react to this and what it means for the New Orleans Saints, because I have a sneaky feeling Klint Kubiak may get thrown into the conversation to replace Bobby Slowik in Houston. So let's go ahead and we'll listen to Rap, and we'll talk about it a little bit here today.
Man, this business surprises you sometimes. We just got a big one. The Houston Texans have moved on from Bobby Slowik, their offensive coordinator, sources say. Now, Bobby Slowik was a rising young coach just last year, had several head coach interviews, and actually a lot of people thought that he would end up as the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, elects to stay in Houston to run it back with another year.
Yeah, don't forget, it wasn't because of lack of interest. Slowik, so Houston has their huge renaissance season last year. Stroud wins MVP. They're this darling team. They were supposed to win 3 games. All of a sudden, they're in the playoffs and win the division. And now Slowik all of a sudden is catapulted to superstardom, and he's in the head coaching conversation. He decides to run it back, very similar to how Ben Johnson decided to run it back with Detroit, to say, you know what, let's just do this another year, see what I can do here, maybe boost my stock even more. LOL. Didn't happen. Now, Houston had some injury concerns. Their offensive line was absolutely horrific. We saw that against the Chiefs. Just a terrible performance from that offensive line. We knew that was going to happen. And Slowik suffered some criticism that he could not adjust, that potentially defenses figured him out, and that's why Stroud seemed to regress. That's why the Houston offense seemed to regress. And, man, they did not give him much time to figure things out, did they? See you later. Crazy stuff here from the Texans.
Year of C.J. Stroud. And I think it's safe to say it was a struggle this year, more of a struggle. In most of the offensive categories, it seemed like they took a step back. I know blocking was a frustration, so Chris Strausser, the offensive line coach, also out in Houston. But I think the belief was that Bobby Slowik would be back, improve a little, and get back to it. Instead, they are moving on. So a major shakeup in Houston. As far as candidates, I would imagine Klint Kubiak, obviously his father knows the Texans very well. He would be a candidate. Gerard Johnson.
Yeah, so Gerard Johnson's interesting because Johnson is the quarterback's coach, I think, in Houston. But to me, it's like, man, if the system isn't working, if what Slowik put in place isn't working, is it just a Slowik problem? Is it a system problem? Is it everything problem? Like Gerard Johnson, it's like swapping Slowik for Johnson. It seems kind of weird in that situation. It almost seems like you want an outside voice to come in. I think Kubiak would be the top guy if you're going to the outside, an outside source. And for Slowik, I have a feeling I know what he's going to do, but what a crazy situation where you are interviewing as a head coach, and all of a sudden now it's like, hey, I know we've won the division back-to-back years. Hey, I know we had the Rookie of the Year last year. Hey, I know, we won a playoff game this year. I know all that stuff happened, but yeah, man, hit the bricks. Like, see you later. What does he do now? I think he's going to go to San Francisco. I think he'll just go back there, go back under Shanahan's wing, try and recoup, try and regather himself. Other spots he could go, sure, but usually when these things happen, you retreat to safety and get yourself together, try and rebuild your resume, rebuild your reputation.
Very, very, very well thought of in the building. The quarterback's coach, he should be a candidate, maybe a wild card or two. Be a really, really great offensive coordinator post, just because of the talent they have there and the organization. But Bobby Slowik out in Houston.
Yeah, I mean, it says a lot about Houston. Like, it says a lot about how they evaluate, because what this is basically telling you is that they're cool with the players. You know, this isn't an indictment on Stroud. They're saying it's not him, it's Slowick. It's not the players, it's not the roster, the wide receivers, the running back. It is Slowick. All right, now you also got to give them credit, I guess, for if they believe something, they execute. And they didn't give him any time, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. But you got to wonder, and this is like a little theory I have here, that DeMeco Ryans is a defensive coach. So in a way, he would know what to, like, he would know, I guess, he sees it every day. You know, so he may know, like, the good systems, what to look for in a good offense, what he wants to see in his coordinators. And that might be a reason why he said this guy doesn't have it. You know, like this isn't what a good offensive coordinator does. This isn't what a good offensive mind or a good offensive system looks like. You know, this is kind of broken. So what does it do to Slowick's stock is the question. There is we're going to go down a rabbit hole here. There's a theory, like a psychological theory out there. I can't remember the name of it right now, but the theory is that, I'll try and paraphrase this. Inherently, humans do not have the ability to distinguish between high quality and low quality. So, like, inherently, like if you gave, a caveman a painting, they would have no clue inherently if it's a good painting or a bad painting. You gave them a piece of jewelry, they would have no clue, like, is this high quality, is it low quality? There is no basis for it. The only basis for it in the way that trends and fads and whatever happens is the bias of people around you, right? Like, why is some art considered high quality? Because it's highly coveted, because it's expensive, because it's rare, all these other factors that then give you the confirmation of, like, okay, this is high quality and this is low quality. Same with jewelry. That's why people pay for diamonds, even though they're inherently not expensive. They're not rare, they're not whatever. People just pay for them because of this, like, accepted belief that they're a symbol of high quality. Okay, I swear I'm gonna make this. I'm going to make this a point. I think we see that a lot with these NFL coordinators. And especially right now, while the coaching carousel is hot and heavy, like the Saints right now are dealing with, coaching search, and we keep hearing the same names. Joe Brady, Kellen Moore, who name your coordinator, Aaron Glenn. But really, we don't know much about these guys. Like, why, like Joe Brady, how can you, right now, how can you distinguish between Joe Brady and Bobby Slowik? Bobby Slowick has a better resume, more experience, whatever, than Joe Brady. So, but now we have this weird situation where the like societal or the groupthink is that Slowick sucks, right? And that Joe Brady's the man. But 12 months ago, we'd be over the moon to have Bobby Slowick. It's just amazing how fast that stuff can change and how fast things can just be accepted. Right now, it's just accepted that Joe Brady is an offensive genius. Right now, it's just accepted that Ben Johnson's a genius offensive guy. And now it's accepted that Bobby Slowick isn't. But what really changed? He had one off season. They had a bad season. Was it 100% his fault? Was there other circumstances? I don't know. So, and we have Saints fans who are right now, they want to move on from Klint Kubiak. I think Klint Kubiak did a hell of a job. I just made a video where I graded Klint Kubiak. I have a sneaky feeling if Klint Kubiak goes to the Texans and the Texans light it up next year, people are going to be walking back a lot of the Klint Kubiak stuff that we're hearing right now. Pete Davidson is a good example of the value that I'm talking about, where inherently, women shouldn't be attracted to him or whatever, but they are because he's validated by, he's being seen with, like, Kim Kardashian. So if you're a random lady in St. Louis and you see Kim Kardashian thinks Pete Davidson's attractive, then you're going to think he's attractive because there's, like, a confirmation bias. So coordinators are dealing with that, and we're seeing it everywhere. So be careful. Be very careful when you find the hotshot coordinator attached to a good team and you're ready to sell the franchise for them. You're ready to give them everything. You're ready to say, yeah, we'll fire our GM for this guy. Hell yeah, we'll do this, no problem. be very careful. So interesting stuff with Slowik, man. I mean, I'm shocked. I really am. I'm shocked. It seems hasty to me. I don't follow the Texans obviously on a day-to-day basis, but I guess it's one of those things where it's beyond the football field. I think this cannot just be a results-driven decision. This has to be something more to it as far as like him in the building, what he was like to work with, what he was like as far as like designing his relationship with Stroud, things like that had to really come into play. This cannot just be, well, we were kind of down this year, so see ya. Because you would think like all of his success in year one would balance that out. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. It is absolutely, though, as a Saints fan, is absolutely worth monitoring Klint Kubiak being tied to this job. If you're a Saints fan, you want Gerard Johnson to get this job because you do not want Kubiak. You don't want that to happen. You don't want all of a sudden Kubiak interviews because if you're Kubiak, hell yeah, I'll go to Houston. Back-to-back division champion. You got C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins, Tank Dell. You got Joe Mixon. Yeah, okay. Well, you got DeMeco Ryans, your head coach. You got. I'd take that. Nope, that sounds pretty sweet. So I'm hoping they go ahead and move forward with Johnson, so we don't lose Kubiak. But yeah, crazy, man. I mean, it really shows how fast this league is. It really does. I mean, you go from within 12 months. Within 12 months, you have Bobby Slowick being the top head coach candidate to getting fired to the same day the oldest coach in NFL history gets hired as the head coach of the Raiders, right? We have Pete Carroll and Bobby Slowick kind of moving in these opposite directions. Absolutely insane. But there you go. One more thing I'll say about this at the end of the video here. I think it's interesting. I've had a lot of people reach out to me, and they've said, well, Bobby Slowick just got fired by the Texans. Maybe the Saints should get him. What do you think about that? And the metaphor that I think of is like, imagine you're at a restaurant, right? And you're looking at your menu, and you see a table next to you, and they have their plate of food, and they pick up their plate of food and go throw it in the trash. Would your first thought be, well, I don't need to look at this menu anymore. I'm going to go eat what that guy just threw in the trash. Or would you say, maybe I should take a look at this menu. I don't know if I want what that guy just got. He just threw it in the trash, right? So I think it's weird whenever the first thought is like, well, let's go get that guy when he just got canned for failing. I mean, so which not to say that you shouldn't, not to say that Slowick should never have a job again, but I think it should be like hey, maybe we should take a step back here if this guy just got fired. Maybe we should ask some questions, So I'd hesitate on the Saints-Slowick connection. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the comments below what you think. Are you surprised by this? And I will see you in the next video.